because I am a new writer, so like all my stuff that I wrote, way back when is only like 6 years ago. So I tried to dig down, like I had to dig for the oldest stuff that I could find. That way I could be like, if it's terrible, I could at least blame it on I was like 13 or something. So I chose, I had to dig. I went through several flash drives looking for like the stuff that I used to write.
We didn't have flash drives.
Yeah, that's right. That's how new I am. I'm still baby, that's why it's scary. So I picked 3, and I thought that I would let you guys decide which one you wanted to hear, which is stupid because I know exactly which one you want to hear. But I'm hoping to the high heavens that you don't want to hear it. Okay, so the first one I have is my first, well not my first, but one of my earlier attempts to write fiction. So I wanted to write something that was as big as like Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones with like lore and different languages and like all these different societies and stuff. So I exerted the first chapter from that. The other one was so I wrote that when I was in 7th grade, or no, 8th grade. 9th grade I did some poems that I thought I would read to you, and then in 7th grade I wrote kind of a fan fiction about the Jonas Brothers. I was thinking about not even including it, but then I had my friend Jackson was like, if you don't do that, I swear. Yes.
Which Jonas Brothers?
Well, that's a great question. Well, you see, I was like 14, so all of them? Mostly Nick, though. I had a huge crush on Nick Jonas, and if anybody read my book, I mentioned how the first concert I go to when I first, because I'm transgender, so when I came out, the first concert I went to was a Jonas Brothers concert, and I actually mentioned it in my book, and this story came like right before we went to that concert. So, and it is bad, of course, everyone has said it, but you know what's funny is that this is probably the weirdest thing I've written, yet when compared to some of these guys, like mine is because I would like
feel the judgment.
Like the biggest thing that happens in this is someone makes eye contact with me. Alright, we'll go. Alright.
Do they have a novel?
They do not. Okay, so the premise of this is that I'm a super shy girl, alright, and I'm going to meet the Jonas Brothers because I have a VIP access or whatever, and this is in spirit of my book because it's a memoir, so it's in the first person perspective, and it has my name. Like, this is when I came up with the name Katie. This is like a little afterwards of me deciding I wanted to be named Katie. So, but the whole premise is that I don't want to look at them. Like, I'm so shy that when I meet them, I don't want to see their faces. So, like, throughout the whole thing, it's going to be like me flipping my hair in my face. All right, let's just jump into it. I got my hat. I don't wear hats, but this is just so I can do that. I don't want to see them yet. What should I do? I asked Sarah, quickly giggling in response. Why don't you want to see them? I let out a slight cough, trying to slow down our pace as we walked. Because they don't want to see me, I responded. Sarah laughed and continued to saunter. I was nervous. I was nervous as all hell. When we finally reached the auditorium, I made a quick sketch of the area in my mind. I knew to the other girls I must look stiff and awkward. I didn't care though. I was way too focused on the sweat that immediately began to accumulate on my upper lip. The auditorium was dark, but not as dark as I would expect it to be. Above us were dozens of lights, some of them were flickering on and off at different intervals and in different colors. Suddenly, out of the corner of my eye, I saw sparks shoot into the air. Holy dicks, what was that? I have no idea. But we should make sure no one got hurt, I said, already sprinting towards the corner of the stage where the sparks had risen. Very quickly, I noticed that there was a mechanical bypass light box. What is that? It sounds right, right? It's like somebody just being like, I'm gonna go make something in GUI Visual Basic or something. Ah, shit. Mechanical bypass light box. It was powered down and for a good reason. A tall, chubby man was crouched beside the box, shouting expletives at the top of his breath. I flipped my hair over my face so that it was still in a neat fashion, but it kept most of my face out of sight. I prepared to jump in and help the man onto his feet, but before I could act, a person dressed in all white with shaggy dark hair ran past me. Quickly kneeling by the man's side. "Are you all right?" the mysterious person said in a stern but sweet voice. "He sounds handsome." And really familiar for some reason. Suddenly it hit me. I knew exactly who this person was. I quickly tugged on Sarah's shirt, signaling to her that I was feeling anxious. When she looked over at me, I flipped my hair further into my face, showing that I was self-conscious. My heart sunk as I heard a voice call out, Hey girl, you with the hair over your eyes, are you okay?" And placed her hands on her hips. Shaking her hips back and forth ever so slightly, she said, "Katie, you are just too shy," in a mocking tone. I could tell I was turning beet red. Out of the corner of my eye, I could see Sarah shaking her head in discomfort. "Yeah, just fine. The light box is blown to shit, though," the man on the ground mumbled as he got to his feet. Oh, actually, this guy is supposed to be gruff. That's right. He's supposed to be like, "Yeah, I'm fine." "The light box is blown to shit, though," the man on the ground mumbled as he got to his feet. "Thanks, boy. Make sure those ladies are okay. You're here? I'm from Oklahoma." So this makes sense to me. Make sure the ladies are okay. The man grumbled before carefully approaching the light box once again. "I'm sorry, guys. My friend is very shy around people that she doesn't know. Of course, it's her loss because all she's doing is hiding a pretty face." Sheridan mocked. I slowly turned my head to look at the brothers, but luckily the man at the lightbox cried out, "Dagnabbit, we have a bug in the system and a few fuses are blown. It'll take at least a day to fix this damn thing." "But the show starts in 2 hours. We don't have a day," Joe said in dismay. This was a beautiful turn of events. I gave a big smile, which I guess the brothers saw because I could hear Nick's voice say, "Wow, amazing lips, perfect amount of gloss." Why couldn't you read the fiction? Why? I giggled, but I dare not look at him. Sarah giggled as well. I thought her giggle sounded more pleasant. "Katie can fix anything," she said. I showed the mechanic my face and whispered, "I can help with this." He stared at me for a moment and then quickly opened the fuse box. "I'll go get some new fuses," he mumbled before stomping away. Kevin looked down at the top of my head as I worked crossing the wires. A few of them were fried as well. It would seem like there was a small surge in the electrical system which caused the light box to react, well, poorly. Once the mechanic returned with the new fuses, I quickly, but gingerly, replaced them. Finally, I snapped the cover back into the light box with a forceful push and stepped away to admire my work. I asked the man to help me pull down the huge yellow lever that was positioned next to it. He gulped and nodded. Together, we pushed the lever back into its original upwards position and then quickly pulled it back down. The lights on and around the stage whizzed back to life with a satisfying sound. A sound that I could only describe as a bowling ball being thrown down an old silo. Heavy and metallic. That's really good. Perfect, I thought to myself. I stood up and looked over at Sarah. "Sorry guys, but Katie has no idea what you guys look like and she doesn't want to spoil it just yet," Sheridan said as I ran to Sheridan. Sheridan ran as I ran to Sarah, hiding behind her with a hidden glossed smile. Aww.